Hello, Chef Matt here with Roth Living, Kansas City, and today we're going to look at the E-Series wall oven. And we want to focus on the features, and so you have a broad overview of how this oven works. We're going to look inside to begin with. So we're going to start with, we have a hidden bake element in the bottom, we have a roast element which is exposed on the top, and then we have dual elements in front of the two convection fans that provide that heat source. All right? And I want to point out the two different styles of racks that we've got on this unit. So we start at the bottom with a glide rack that has a turned up handle, and it comes out completely onto the metal glides on the door for ease of use, bringing out those large roasts or things that might have some heaviness to them. All right, and then we have a standard rack up top that has a straight handle on the front, and you'll notice that it comes out about halfway in that position. All right. And then also the fully extending glide rack, okay? And this will become a favorite of yours because it does extend out all the way. It's really nice to use. So if we want to take out any of these racks, we simply lift to remove. Same with the glide rack. We're going to lift it and bring it out. Now you'll notice the arms on it do extend. And we need to know this because we're going to want to play around with moving the racks around in different positions for things that we're cooking. When I put that back in, I simply glide the tabs on the end of that rack over the rack itself on the side, and that allows it to click back into place. It is a good thing to pull it out a little bit and put some pressure on it just to make sure it's positioned right. Okay? So from there, let's talk about the modes of the oven for just a moment. So we're going to start off with our standard modes of bake. That's using the bottom heat source solely. Roast is using some top heat and some bottom heat in the cooking process. Broiling is using the top element, and you don't need to keep the oven door open on that broil. Just a quick note on that. Also, stone mode. Stone mode does have a small amount of convection, but not enough to warrant that we're counting it as a convection mode. And stone mode is that mode that you're going to use for artisan pizzas in your home, flatbreads, artisan breads, anything of that sort. And then proof and clean are modes that are very beneficial. Proof is going to give you the ability to let those pastries and those fresh breads rise before you bake them off. The clean mode allows you to self-clean. We'll cover this in a future episode on cleaning the oven. And then we're going to get into the modes that have convection on them. Now, one thing I want to point out, on most recipes in convection, you want to adjust that temperature down 25 degrees, and you want to start checking the product that you're cooking about 25% earlier. The convection is going to be that effective at cooking faster. So 25 degrees as a rule, and 25% earlier, you're going to start checking that. So we have convection bake. Now, on convection bake, our heat source is still on the bottom of the oven, but we've got some airflow involved as well. On convection roast, we're using that top element that's getting the majority of its heat from the top element, but we are getting some from the bottom to even it out as well. And then convection broil is adding some airflow to the broil mode. You're not going to adjust the low, medium, or high on the broil. You're simply going to adjust your time on that. And then convection mode is using those dual fans at the back of the oven that have the elements by them. And then we're talking dehydrate mode if you want to do some fruit leathers or some jerkies, anything like that, where you're dehydrating for a period of time. That's a very beneficial mode, and you will have the door ajar for that mode. And then we do have a lock feature to child-proof the oven during certain modes. All right, your oven off mode is right here, and your oven light mode as well. So let's look at the settings for time and temp on the right side. So we'll start off with, we have our set timer, and this is important. When you go to set a timer for 10 minutes, you're simply going to press 10 enter. You don't want to press 10 and add a couple of zeros. That's going to give you 10 hours, okay? So the simple number and enter. Setting the clock is very simple, and then time cook is going to give you a program that you can program when you want to start and stop the cooking process. And temp probe is a feature on this oven that we will talk about. You have a probe that you will be able to use for roasting meats and different cuts of vegetables, and you can even use it on vegetables and in casseroles. And that's going to allow you to set the temperature of the desired doneness for your product. Okay? So all of it is spelled out. This is a touch-tone screen, very easy to use, very easy to read. And from here, we're going to talk about getting the oven ready to use. So what we're going to want to do first is make sure that all packing and instructions are removed from the oven. And from there, we're going to turn the oven on to 550 roast. And we're going to let it cook off any of the residual oils from the factory and manufacturing residual. And we want to make sure that we have the ventilation on high at this time, just because it's going to get a little bit smoky during that time. Okay? So do not line the bottom of the oven with anything once you're ready to use this oven. Okay? No oven liners, no foil, anything of that sort. Number one, we don't want to obstruct the heat coming from the bottom of the oven. Number two, that does void the warranty if something should happen to the bottom of the oven from something lying on there. Okay? Visit us at rothliving.lifestyle.com on YouTube for more content. Thank you very much.